Hi y'all! I feel like it's been a very long time. However, recently I had a request to do a Q&A. So I posted on my Instagram and I was like, if you have any questions about Nestle, about like Korean studying abroad or myself, like go ahead and ask. And I didn't expect there to be a lot of responses, but there was a lot of responses, and I was like, oh, y'all actually watched my story, but it's okay. But yeah, so I'm just gonna answer a couple questions, and yeah, pretty much. Okay, if this is too long, I will break it into two parts, and so if there's a rough cutoff, that just means that it just got way too long and I didn't know how to end it. So yeah, okay, so let's get started. So the first question is, how did you find out about Nestle and what made you interested in Korean? So let's just start from what made me interested in Korean. So basically, this all started because my younger sister was really into K-pop, and she would play like random dance plays and like K-pop videos and I don't know, just random stuff like all the time. And at some point it just started being like a bonding experience for us, and it was fun, like listening and watching and stuff like that. And then at some point my sister was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna start learning Korean. And I was like, oh really, that sounds cool. And I also was like my sister was learning and it seemed really cool. And at the time I felt like I was also kind of struggling with like Spanish, and I wasn't really getting that far. And so then I was like, what if I learn Korean too? And so then I started self-study because it was the middle of the year and there was no classes or like tutors. I couldn't find nothing, or like they were too far. So I tried to study on my own using like, Duolingo and Memrise and Talk to Me in Korean and stuff like that. But like, I didn't feel like I got very far. But yeah, so that's how I got into learning Korean. But like, honestly, at some point I started also getting really into K-dramas, and I was like, ooh, this would be so much easier to watch if I could watch the drama without reading the subtitles. Because at first when you have to read constantly, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't miss a second because I need to be able to know what's happening. Obviously as time goes on, it's like it's a little easier and you don't really need to look as much, or at least for me. But that's also because I'm learning Korean. But yeah, and then I got into classes, Korean classes, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I loved my teacher. I loved the class, and like it made learning really fun. And the culture was super duper interesting to me. And I don't know, I just kind of fell in love with the language and the culture in general. And so I kind of just wanted to continue with it. Then when I applied to Nestle, after I had my whole like mini crisis being like, what do I do with my life now, since I don't really want to do theater anymore, I came up with the idea that I want to be a psychologist and have like a counseling firm that had like multiple different languages and stuff like that. So it's like very accessible, and it's for and run by BIPOC, and yeah, and it's like all inclusive and stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool, and I was like, ooh, I should lead by example and also learn another language. And here I am. So yeah, and I don't know, I just like it a lot. And I can connect with a lot of different people that originally I didn't realize I could connect with. So that's been fun, and it's just really fun speaking in a different language. But yeah, so that's how I got into it. How I found out about Nestle. Basically, I always, not always, but like the past couple years, the past like 2 years, I like consciously knew of Nestle, but I didn't know exactly what it was. So like I follow this one alumni, and they would talk about Nestle, and I didn't really think much of it because I was just like, okay, cool. They went to Korea for the school year. That sounds fun, I guess. But I wasn't really like, oh my gosh, like I want to go now, you know? I was just like, that's not like my intention. I just really want to learn the language. I wasn't even really thinking like, oh my gosh, if I go, I can get so much practice. Like I wasn't even thinking about that at first. And then one day, I got an email, and my Korean teacher had nominated me to apply to be nominated for Nestle. So then I was like, and then in the email I explained what the program was, and that you could do academic year, you can do summer, and like the program was 100% free. And I was like, oh, I think my parents would get on board with that. So, and I was like, oh, and it'd be really good to like improve my language learning with like actual natives and stuff like that. So yeah, so then I applied, and then I got the nomination from my language program, and then I actually like applied to Nestle, and yeah, and I guess now I'm here. Isn't that wild? So yeah, yeah. How did I think this question is, how did I prep for Nestle? And basically I mentally prepared myself. So like before, like I had already done my research, like being a Black foreigner in Korea, you know. I watched tons of videos and read tons of articles and stuff like that, and I was like, I feel very mentally prepared for what may happen while being in Korea. So, but like language learning wise, I was still taking Korean classes all up until basically the day before we were about to leave. And so language learning wise, as well as like program study that we had to do beforehand. So I felt that, I guess that was my prep. I felt very kind of prepared. I don't know. I feel like there wasn't a lot of prep that I did. How's my host family? I love my host family. I love my host family a lot. And I'm honestly sad to leave them. But yeah, they're the best. They made me so happy, and they're just such a joy to be around. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think it's funny because I was really stressed to meet them because I didn't know how it was going to be, and then it was like completely fine. And then they also know English, and the fact that my host mom is like studied Mandarin, and so she knows like the struggle of language learning, and so she's also been extremely helpful with it. So yeah, I don't know, I'm just having a really good time. I like it here. Yeah. Will you continue to study Korean until you're fluent? That's the goal, but I don't think you can ever actually be fluent unless you're a native speaker. But yeah, I'm going to continue studying Korean until I get pretty far in the language and I can have like pretty decent conversations with people. But I also still want to learn Mandarin too. So yeah, what are the COVID regulations like in Korea? Also, do you guys get time to go places without your host family? So, when we got to Korea, we had to quarantine for 2 weeks. And then we had 1 week where everything seemed completely fine. And then after that week, COVID cases began to rise rapidly in Korea because of the Delta virus. And so then we went to level 4 social distancing. And what that means is that before 6 p.m., you can only be in groups of 4. And after 6 p.m., you can only be in groups of 2. And then, of course, normal social distancing rules, but then also no big gatherings. And I feel like there's some other things, but I'm blanking right now. But yeah. And then, do we get time to go places without the host family? We get lots of time to do that. Like, after class, because of Corona, a lot of things actually got canceled. So we end up having a lot of times on our hands, and a lot of people hang out with each other and go different places without their host families all the time. And they're just living the life. And so, short answer, yeah, pretty much we get a lot of time to do that. But on the weekends and stuff like that, we hang out with our host family also. So, yeah. Let's see what else. How long have you known or been learning Korean, and how do I start? I've been learning Korean technically for a little over 2 years. However, because I didn't get far when I did self-study, I don't count it. So, yeah, I don't count it. So, I just say I've been studying for, I guess now, over a year. How do you start? Start learning the Korean alphabet, because that's the easiest part of learning the language, is learning the alphabet, because it's very simple. And honestly, once you start being able to read Hangul, it's so much more easier to, and the grammar structure, it's so much more easy to adapt and learn too. So yeah, because romanization is not helpful. It's not helpful at all. Well, at least for me, because I can't read it, because sometimes the romanization isn't actually how you're supposed to pronounce the word. So it's very confusing. So I suggest learning how to read Hangul. How much did you improve on your Korean? Would you say this trip has improved your speaking, stuff like that? So I think this trip has definitely improved my speaking and listening and understanding a lot more. Understanding Korean is a very big struggle of mine. But definitely being able to come here and now being able to understand partially what people are saying has been really helpful. Before I came to Korea, if someone was to talk to me in Korean, even if I knew some of the words they were saying, it would go completely over my head and I wouldn't understand. However, now I can pick out the words that I do understand. However, if there's a word I don't know or a phrase I don't know, then that goes over my head because I don't know what they said. But besides that, my understanding has improved a lot more. My speaking also, I feel like, has improved more because I can now make foolish sentences. It's still really hard for me, but compared to at the beginning when I couldn't even finish my sentences, yeah, I feel like I've improved. Plus, just in general, going to classes and then being with your host family and being able to apply what you learned has also been extremely helpful so far. So, yeah. Yep. Are you going to study uni in Korea? Short answer, no. So, with the field that I want to go in and the fact that I want to my dreams is to have a counseling firm with multiple different languages. I feel like it's easier to do that in a country that has various different cultures and languages in it. And it's kind of harder. It's harder to do that in a more homogenous country. So short answer, no. But I do really want to study abroad in college or visit Korea, like in the summers or during college or whatever. So in that way, yeah, I feel like I am. But like actually going to a university in Korea, that's not necessarily something I really want to do. Where do I see myself in 5 years? In 5 years, I see myself being happy. I feel really happy right now, but like I feel like in 5 years, I'll be very driven on what I kind of want to do with my life, and I can work towards it and I don't know, be my best self. What is something you learned there and will continue doing when you get back? Okay. Most of it is phrases. So like I'll be talking to someone and I'll be like, oh, nee, 맞아요. But then I remember not everyone understands Korean. So then I have to like retrain my brain. So I feel like just simple phrases like oh nee, like 아니요, or 괜찮아요, or like oh 맞아요, or I don't know, just like different stuff. I feel like I might accidentally do. Or I don't know. I feel like there's more stuff. Taking off my shoes before I come into the house. Like, I mean, I do that in my actual house, but like, I feel like I'm gonna be more mindful of it now. Yeah, I don't know what else. Like, habit-wise. Yeah. How does the money currency work? I don't quite understand the question, but basically, in Korea they use won, right? Which is, it's like, it's a little, 1,000 won is a little less than $1. It's like, I don't know, like 80 something cents. I don't know, something around there. I don't know. So basically, if you like want to get an estimate on how much something is in dollars, just take off the 3 zeros. And there you go. So like something that is like won, which would be like 10,000 like won. Take off the three zeros, it's $10 basically. I mean, it's a little less than $10, but it's basically $10. So I don't know, I guess that's how it works. How to memorize Daehwamun in class. So Daehwamun is conversation. And we have to memorize a bunch in our Korean classes. And it's, okay. I don't know how to memorize it. I just repeat it and practice it multiple times. But I don't know. I guess that's also what I do when I try to memorize scripts or something like that in theater. So, I don't know. But it's really hard having to memorize scripts really quickly and then repeat it back for tests. Like, I have a test coming up and I have to memorize 6 scripts. And then one gets chosen at random. And I have to repeat it. But yeah. Any awkward situations in Korea? Not necessarily, no. I haven't really had many experiences with strangers in general. I feel like the most awkward experiences was like when I accidentally stepped on this man's foot on the bus because it jolted and I accidentally stepped on the foot. And then instead of saying 죄송합니다, I accidentally said 미안해요. And the guy looked really annoyed or whatever, but I felt bad because I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't use the right formal speech and I stepped on their foot, but I didn't mean to. But yeah, I don't know, I haven't really had many awkward experiences. There's things I've not been really used to, like I guess how close people are to each other. Like like girls will like be like really close to each other, and it's like throwing me off because I'm not really used to that. Like it's not like it's okay. I'm just not used to it. So it's just like at first it's just like what is happening, but then it's like, oh, okay, it's fine. So yeah, I don't know, I haven't really had many awkward situations. Okay, when did I sign up for Nestle? October, and I found out I got in like April or May. Long process. Okay, here we go with the personal questions. Okay, 그래서 취미가 뭐예요? What are your hobbies? 그래서 제 취미는 춤을 추기 좋아요. 춤을 추기 좋아요. I like to dance a lot. I dance like constantly. I'm not saying that it's good. I just like moving my body. And so a lot of times you'll see me like, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. A lot of times it'll be like, you know, I'm just be talking and I'm just moving my hands or whatever. But I just like to dance. I don't even like competitions or like performing like that. But like dancing with friends or dancing just in general is just fun. So I like it. 좋아하는 음식. 그래서 I think I learned this grammar today. 그래서 한국 음식 중에서 떡볶이하고 불고기하고 I'm blanking. 떡볶이 하고 김밥. This is so basic, but also 냉면 좋아. 제일 좋아요. So yeah, I don't know. Those are I feel like I just listed very basic stuff, but like I'm blanking. I don't remember. Like I've had so many different foods. Oh, samgyeopsal was really good, but it was just kind of chewy, so it was hard with my braces. But it was like good. It was really good. Oh my gosh, sundae 하고 떡볶이 너무 좋아요. 너무 좋아요. Like it's so good together. Also, apparently I've only had yams and not sweet potatoes, so I was really surprised when I actually ate a sweet potato, because in America we call yams sweet potatoes sometimes, or at least in my family. So then I got confused. But yeah. 미국 음식은 미국 음식 중에서 몰라요. Like every once in a while, I guess 피자하고 버거, 햄버거 좋아요. 제일 좋아요. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also blanking on like whenever someone just asks like, "What's your favorite food?" There's too many foods to choose from. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. 좋아하는 노래. Okay. So 음악 중에서 크래쉬의 what is this song called? 크래쉬. Oh my gosh. 잠깐만요. Oh my. Wait. Is it sofa? Wait, this one song like. Okay. 지금 음악 중에서 크래쉬의 소파 제일 좋아해요. 그리고 아이유의 oh my gosh, 좋은 날 하고 there's another island. Lilac. I don't know, there's a lot. I really like IU apparently. Like, oh, and open. Ooh, ending soon is good. open 더 좋아요. Yeah. Okay. 그다음 이상형 누구인가요? Who's your what's it called? Ideal type. That's what it is. 그래서 요즘 이 질문 조금 어려워요. 근데 괜찮아요. 그래서 김수현 from 사교지만 괜찮아요. 아니면 what's it called? It's okay to not be okay. 너무 좋아요. 그리고 틱스의 연주 좋아요. 연준 좋아요. 그리고 BTS의 태양하고 Jordan Fisher and Chadwick Boseman 좋아요. Yeah, I don't know. Just yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I guess those are my, in a way, ideal types. I don't know. I don't get this question a lot, so I don't really know how ever to answer it. Yeah. But I think that's, last question. Have you tried the mint chocolate chicken? No, I have not. I know. I wanted to try it. I don't know where you can find it, but also, like, I wanted to, one day I went to, like, this coffee shop, and I was like, ooh, there's a mint chocolate milkshake or, like, smoothie type thing. Let me get it because that sounds good, because I like mint chocolate. And then I drank it, and it was so minty. It was so powerful that I didn't know what to do. And so I didn't really like it. It wasn't my favorite. 조금 안 좋아요. 근데 I don't know. I just wasn't vibing with it. It was very powerful. So because of that experience, I've kind of been scared to try mint chocolate anything after that. But I mean, I still like it. It's just, I know it's just a little too much for me. So I'm not sure how mint chocolate chicken would go. Or chocolate chicken. But I don't know. I'm still very curious on that. Okay. Anyways. I may split this video into 2 parts since this is almost 30 minutes long. But for now, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for sending me questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask me in the comments or like DM me or something like that. Go ahead. So yeah, I will see y'all next time. Bye.